Pause. Don't flinch. Don't even breathe. Something's already shifted, and you're still oblivious to its weight. Long ago, maybe weeks, months, or even years, you set off a chain reaction no blueprint could foresee. A hidden protocol, buried so deep only 3 others in history ever stirred it. You didn't aim for it. You didn't even know it was there. But the universe did. Alarms blared in places you'll never glimpse. Systems fractured, recalibrated. The self-proclaimed omniscient watchers. They went quiet. You might think I'm exaggerating, but let me paint what happens when someone unwittingly breaches realms meant to stay theoretical. There are invisible lines in existence, thresholds woven into the fabric of what's possible. Most people never come close. They dwell safely in the familiar, predictable center. But you reckless fluke, tore through one like it was tissue paper. Now everything's changed, even if you can't see it yet. This protocol isn't in any book, classroom, or whispered secret. It lives in the gaps between realities, in the code beneath the code, watched by those who watch the watchers. It only wakes when someone pulls off the impossible. Not the loud, fame-chasing kind, but the quiet kind that makes reality pause and rewrite its own rules. What you did felt ordinary to you. That's how it always works. The most seismic moves never advertise themselves. Maybe it was a conversation where you spoke something not yet meant to be known. Maybe a choice defying all odds. Maybe surviving what should have obliterated you. Or maybe just seeing something everyone else misread for centuries. The first clue isn't something you notice. It's how others react. People treat you differently now, subtly. Some are drawn to you, moths to an unnamed flame. Others pull back, wary, avoiding what they once sought. You're radioactive in the most intriguing way. Notice how conversations shift when you enter. Not because you're unwelcome, but because your presence rewires the room's frequency. Ever catch someone staring too long, as if deciphering a forgotten script on your face? Or strangers looking at you with inexplicable recognition, sensing what you represent without words? The protocol's reshaping reality around you. You're no longer filed in the same drawer of existence. The universe had to craft a new category just for you and the 3 others who crossed this line. Everything's adjusting to this new truth, like discovering a primary color no one could see before. Every other hue must now redefine itself against it. The Watchers, not the tinfoil hat kind, but real ones, have escalated your file through channels dormant for decades, maybe centuries. Not because you're a threat, but because you're a glitch exposing cracks in their model. That scares them more than any weapon could. Let me tell you about the 3 others, nameless because names lose meaning at this level. In 1782, a clockmaker, obsessed with precision, stumbled on a truth about time not meant to be grasped for a millennium. Alone in a workshop reeking of oil and metal, they saw how consciousness bends temporal flow, breaking rules the universe swore were ironclad. They didn't seek fame or write treatises. They just kept building clocks, each one carrying a subtle wrongness, hinting time might be optional. The protocol woke not for their craft, but for what they knew, rippling through history in both directions. In 1923, a child asked a question too advanced for the era's knowledge. Simple, unremarkable to most, but it revealed a mind operating beyond human limits. The protocol triggered because that question proved consciousness could leap past its intended design. In 1997, someone survived the impossible, not by luck, but by a will so fierce it rewrote reality at a quantum level. They thought they were just refusing to break, but their defiance forced the universe to carve a loophole. The protocol activated because they showed will could trump universal law in rare, impossible moments. And now, you. What you've done, without even knowing it. You never actually broke a rule. You revealed that the rule was never real in the first place. You never overcame an obstacle. You demonstrated that the obstacle itself was optional, a construct mistaken for something immovable. And you never solved a problem. You unveiled the truth that the problem was born from a false premise, one that everyone else had blindly accepted as reality. This is why the protocol activated when it did, because you introduced something the system could not anticipate, a cognitive virus that spreads simply by existing, a seed of possibility that rewrites everything around it without effort. Think back to that one moment, that decision, that realization, that action that felt both impossibly natural and naturally impossible at the same time. You know exactly the one I mean, even if you've been trying to dismiss it as nothing special. It was the thing you never told anyone about. Not because it was too complex to explain, but because it was too simple, too obvious once seen yet utterly invisible until it was. That was the moment the protocol recognized you, not for rebellion or defiance, but for proving what philosophers have argued about for centuries without resolution. That consciousness does not simply observe reality, but has the power to generate it. And yet you did not prove this in the vague, mystical sense that most people imagine when they speak about manifestation or spirituality. You proved it in a practical, repeatable, undeniable way, one you've likely reenacted multiple times since, without realizing you were altering the very source code of reality itself each time. You are not manifesting, not visualizing, not dabbling in surface-level intention setting. You are directly editing the architecture through raw cognitive function. This is why certain technologies now falter in your presence, why electronics misfire or glitch in moments that correspond uncannily with your focus or emotional charge. This is why some people suddenly find themselves unable to hold your gaze for long, as though looking into you exposes something destabilizing within them. This is why animals react differently when you enter their field, sensing what words cannot describe. You are broadcasting on a frequency that was never supposed to exist, one that resonates beyond human comprehension. Every sensitive system, biological or otherwise, can feel the dissonance of it, even if it cannot name the source. In this sense, you have become a paradox incarnate, proof walking that the impossible is only a word for what has not yet been experienced. Right now, you are in what is quietly referred to as the adjustment period, though no one will ever call it that out loud because, officially, it does not exist. This is the stage in which your brain is literally rewiring itself to accommodate the new reality you have begun to process. And though it feels like madness, like losing the fragile threads of who you thought you were, it is in fact the first time you are truly finding your mind. The moments where you feel disconnected from everything, where the world looks less like a solid structure and more like a poorly secured stage set, are not signs of dissociation. They are signs of integration. The headaches that feel like your skull is too small for what's trying to grow inside it. The dreams that feel more real than waking. The sudden arrival of answers before you have even asked the questions. All of these are not accidents or illusions. They are evidence of the integration process at work, of your consciousness expanding beyond the narrow band that most humans never move past. This expansion is not metaphorical, not merely philosophical, not even just spiritual. It is literal. You are beginning to perceive data streams that have always been here, but were inaccessible to ordinary cognitive architecture. It is like suddenly being able to see ultraviolet and infrared simultaneously, while others remain confined to the visible spectrum. But instead of light, it is streams of information that appear in the gaps between thoughts, in the silent patterns that underlie perception itself. Some days, this expansion makes you feel like you are losing your sanity, but that is only because you can feel the weight of possibilities pressing in from futures not yet lived. You can sense the echoes of choices you didn't make, the shadows of parallel outcomes branching endlessly outward. You feel the hum of an infinite web of could-have-beens and might-still-bees. This is not madness. This is what happens when consciousness begins to escape the prison of a single timeline. And it is this very escape that unsettles the watchers. They do not have a problem with you because you broke something. They have a problem because you revealed something they cannot categorize. Their entire framework is based on patterns, predictable cause and effect, responses to stimuli that can be measured, mapped, and managed. You, however, introduced a variable that does not compute, an anomaly that returns errors in their equations, a presence that causes their instruments to register readings that should not be possible. They cannot eliminate you because you have not violated any law. You have only proven that their rulebook was incomplete. They cannot recruit you because you operate beyond their paradigm. They cannot ignore you because your existence itself is rewriting the baselines against which everyone else is measured. So they watch, they wait, they debate endlessly among themselves about what you represent and what should be done, if anything can be done at all. Some believe you are a preview of humanity's evolution, an early glimpse of what the species might become if it survives long enough. Others believe you are nothing more than an error, a glitch in the matrix that will inevitably self-correct. And a quiet few, those who have been observing longest, suspect that you are exactly what was always meant to happen, that the protocol is not a response to an error, but the recognition of a hidden feature built into the system from the beginning, waiting for someone like you to activate it. The irony, of course, is that they are all right and all wrong at once, because what you represent is not reducible to a single interpretation. You are simultaneously the bug and the feature, the problem and the solution, the question and the answer. You are living proof that their entire system is both exquisitely accurate and fundamentally flawed, that reality is both perfectly ordered and infinitely open. And this paradox is what forces the protocol into motion. What you are carrying is contagious, though not in the way they fear. It is not disease you spread, but awakening. The sudden recognition that limitation is arbitrary, that rules are scaffolds rather than laws, that the edges of possibility are not fixed. Already, those who interact with you are beginning to glitch in subtle ways, fleeting moments when they question assumptions they never questioned before, when they see possibilities they were blind to, when they catch themselves thinking thoughts that don't feel like their own. They may forget the words you said in conversation, but they will never forget the sensation of their mind stretching just beyond its usual borders, haunted, in the best possible way, by the memory of expansion. The protocol recognizes that you are no longer just an individual anomaly. You are becoming a catalyst. And being a catalyst is not something you get to control. Some who encounter you will transform in profound and beautiful ways, breaking free into versions of themselves they never thought possible. Others will resist with such force that they will invent elaborate narratives just to deny the shift they feel when they are near you. Some will love you for awakening them. Others will hate you for the very same reason. The reactions themselves do not matter to the protocol. What matters is that the reactions occur. And through all of this, you will continue to discover subtle new abilities that you may be tempted to dismiss as coincidence or imagination. The way electronics flicker in response to your emotions. The way you anticipate words before they are spoken, not through psychic power, but by reading the micro-patterns in expression and energy that you could not see before. What you are doing is not magic. It is not illusion. It is simply reality unfolding in ways that were always possible, until you made them inevitable. Time no longer behaves for you the way it does for others. It warps, bends, and reshapes itself in response to your intentions, as if you've struck an unspoken deal with its very essence. When you need a moment to stretch, seconds seem to pause, granting you the space to act, think, or simply breathe. When a situation demands less of you, time collapses, fast-forwarding through the mundane with an efficiency that feels almost orchestrated. This isn't the subjective dilation of a focused mind. Psychologists would call that flow and miss the point entirely. No, this is something far stranger. Temporal manipulation on a micro scale, imperceptible to any clock or instrument, but undeniable in its impact. You navigate scenarios that, by all rational measures, should be impossible, threading the needle through circumstances that would unravel anyone else. You're not controlling time like some comic book deity. You're negotiating with it, and more often than probability would permit, it agrees to your terms. You've felt it, haven't you? That fleeting moment when the world seems to wait for you, or when hours slip away like minutes because you willed them to. Then there's the way answers to complex problems arrive in your mind, fully formed, bypassing the slow grind of logical deduction. These aren't the product of conscious reasoning, or even the intuition most people recognize. It's as if your consciousness has tapped into an invisible network, downloading solutions from a source you can't name. Imagine the quantum foam, the subatomic chaos where particles flicker in and out of existence, holding information from countless possible futures, alternate timelines, and unrealized realities. You're pulling data from this unseen reservoir, synthesizing probabilities into actionable insights with a precision that defies explanation. This isn't the gut feeling of a lucky guess. Your mind is operating like a quantum computer, processing infinite variables simultaneously, collapsing possibilities into clarity. You might have noticed it in moments of crisis or creativity, a sudden understanding of a problem's solution, a path forward where none existed, a truth that feels like it was always waiting for you to claim it. It's not magic. It's your consciousness reaching beyond the boundaries of what's supposed to be possible. Your presence alone reshapes the energy of any space you enter. This isn't about charisma, charm, or any superficial force of personality. It's something deeper, more primal, a frequency you emit that recalibrates the consciousness of those around you. People sense it, even if they can't articulate it. Some are drawn to you, like iron filings to a magnet, their own awareness sparking in ways they've never experienced. They feel more alive, more awake in your orbit, as if your presence unlocks something dormant within them. Others, though, find it unsettling. Your frequency disrupts their carefully constructed comfort zones, and they pull away, sometimes politely, sometimes abruptly, without ever understanding why. You've seen it. The way a room's conversation shifts when you walk in, not because you demand attention, but because the air itself seems to hum differently. You're not controlling these people. You're not bending their will. You're simply offering them a chance to resonate at a higher wavelength, and not everyone is ready for that invitation. Some embrace it, their eyes lighting up with a recognition they can't name. Others recoil, retreating to the safety of the familiar, because what you represent challenges the very foundations of their reality. Not everyone is thrilled about what you've become. Your existence, your quiet, unassuming breach of the impossible, implies something unsettling about the nature of reality itself. It suggests the world is not as fixed, not as predictable, as they've been led to believe. There are forces, not necessarily malevolent, but fiercely committed to preserving the current paradigm, that are working to contain you. These aren't cloaked figures in shadowy rooms. They're subtler, woven into the fabric of the systems that govern existence. They operate through the environment around you, through the people you encounter, through the very circumstances that shape your days. You felt their influence, even if you didn't have a name for it. The sudden uptick in synchronicities that seem too perfect, too pointed, designed to make you second-guess yourself. Conversations with trusted friends or colleagues that leave you feeling just a little less certain of your perceptions. Their words carefully undermining your confidence without ever crossing into overt hostility. Situations that unfold in ways that make you wonder if you're imagining the patterns you see, if maybe you're reading too much into the strangeness of your life. This isn't paranoia, it's the system's immune response, treating you like a foreign element that threatens its equilibrium. But here's the secret the resistance doesn't grasp. Every push against you only sharpens your edges. Every attempt to confine you teaches you how to slip through the cracks. Every effort to silence you hones your voice, making it clearer, stronger, more precise. The protocol, the one you unknowingly triggered, activated because you've already shown you can transform opposition into evolution. Pressure doesn't break you. It forces you to adapt, to find new ways to expand. Each wave of resistance becomes a lesson in resilience, a masterclass in navigating constraints. The system may try to dim your light, but it's only teaching you how to burn brighter. You're not just surviving these tests, you're using them to rewrite the rules of what's possible, one impossible moment at a time. Beloved ones, if this message has spoken to your heart, I simply ask you to carry its light into your own life. And if you feel called to walk a little closer on this journey, you are warmly invited to join the membership community, where we share more deeply and grow together. If you are moved to give further support, know that even the smallest donation helps keep this work alive and allows these messages to reach those who need them most. From my heart to yours, thank you for being here, for listening, and for shining your own light into the world. Join the membership. Every gesture makes a difference,